Good evening, everybody. I think you'll have a view of the drone footage, and I might hand this to Perry. And Perry can talk into the microphone and let the world of Facebook and those here on site know what's happening and all about the 40-inch.
Thank you, Mark. Good evening, everyone. If you're watching this via our streaming sources, you can see that this is our gym trainer visual observatory, which is now opening up, and it will reveal underneath the largest telescope in Victoria, bar none. So the largest telescope in Victoria lives here at the ASV's Dark Sky site, and it's a 40-inch mirror Hubble optics telescope, which we installed about a year and a half ago now. And the roof is slowly sliding off towards the east to reveal that telescope. There's also some other telescopes in there. Once upon a time, there was the largest telescopes that the Society had were 17.5-inch scopes. One of them belonged to Steve Patty, the other one to another ex-president, Chris Hyde. And there's the 40-inch telescope peering over the top of the walls. But what I was about to allude to is the smaller telescope in front of the 40-inch one is larger than the largest telescope we used to have 20-odd years ago. So things have really kicked on, and we're getting bigger and better all the time. The roof is almost now reached the edge. Have we got to the end, Paul? Are we at the end, Paul, or will it roll off some more? That's it? Okay. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. A big hand, your applause for the revealing of this wonderful telescope in the observatory. All right, let's go and have a look inside the telescope for our people online. Thank you, Paul. How often does this telescope get used?
Probably once a month at least, and probably more often than that, actually. There's a lot of members that have been trained on it, and you can get trained. It takes about probably a good 4 nights to get trained properly on it. And a bit of reading up. There's a few documents to go through. So, but it's not out of the reach of any ASV member.
Well, that's fantastic to know that any member who qualifies by doing the course can have access to that magnificent telescope. Tell me, Paul, what's the most impressive object that you have seen through this telescope that ordinary people may recognise?
Ordinary people, probably a tarantula is really fantastic, and the Thor's helmet is very well. It fits in the eyepiece really nicely, and under filter, an O3 filter, it looks fantastic, absolutely amazing. But this telescope's not really for planets and big objects like the Orion Nebula. You can't see the whole object in the telescope, but you can see colour. You can see colour, and it's quite a nice view of those objects. But really, it shines on the really deep stuff, the really deep galaxies and quasars. I've seen down to a probably 21 mag quasar, so it's, that's amazing to look at through this telescope.
What's the best galaxy that somebody might be able to have a look at through in this particular telescope, do you think? Maybe Sculptor or M83? Your choice.
My choice would be 1365 Barred Spiral Galaxy. Absolutely amazing. You can see the spiral arms come right out of it. Yeah, and it's probably the best I've ever seen. 1365 in this telescope. Yeah.
I remember having a look at 1365 myself, which is my favourite barred spiral actually, and I could see that somebody was waving back at me from that galaxy all those millions of light years away. You don't believe me? Well, maybe not, but I have a very highly strung imagination. How many people would you say we can get through to have a look at a particular object through the telescope per hour?
It depends on how high that object is and how long it takes people to get up and down the ladder, because it is a bit of a pain to go up and down that ladder, especially if you're not used to it. But if we keep it low and we can get through a few people, I think probably we could do probably one every 4 minutes.
Well, that's pretty good actually, because it does involve getting up on the ladder. Now, you may wonder what the significance of that is. Well, that's because, if I may, Paul, the eyepiece that you look through is right up here. So you have to get your eye all the way to here to be able to look through it. So it takes a bit of time to do that and then come down the ladder. Of course, we also have to fit everyone with a parachute before they go up, and then we have to take it off again when they get down. Right here as well, there's a very important wheel where we use it to focus, because everybody's eyes are a little bit different. My advice normally is, if you wear glasses, keep them on. But if you can't keep them on, and we can't use a neutral focus, then you can use the wheel on the side of the eyepiece here to focus to your eyes by moving it around in and out. All right, let's get down. Yes, Paul made a great suggestion there that you shouldn't treat observing like a butterfly flirting from flower to flower really quickly. You have to take your time, savour what's in the eyepiece, and use what we call a verted vision. That is, don't look directly at the object. If it's a faint object like a nebula or a faint galaxy, nebulae, by the way, are gas clouds, and they're not particularly bright. So the best way to see them is not to look directly at them and use the side of your eye to look at it. Astronomers call it a verted vision. All right, now this is the telescope that is bigger than all the telescopes we used to have maybe 20 years ago. And that was the case for quite a few years. So this is an 18-inch Obsession telescope made by the Obsession company in the USA. Same people that made that one over there. And somebody said it earlier, and it's very true, that the most important part of a telescope is the mirror and how well it is made. The figure of the mirror is the most important thing in terms of the amount of detail you can see. We also normally, we've got, what's this, a 10-inch? A 10-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope in here. What's this one, a 12 or a... Right, a 12-inch Lightbridge telescope. And what's this one, an 8-inch?
That's
Leon Mau's 8-inch, or is it 10? It's an 8. It's an 8. Now, we also have the best instrument to look at the Andromeda Galaxy with, right here, except it's missing the top part. And that is a giant pair or a giant binoculars, which give us a fantastic view. So if you're ever offered the opportunity to look at the Andromeda Galaxy, don't bother looking at it with a telescope. Use these binoculars. It is the best view I have ever had of the Andromeda Galaxy, because telescopes only show you the central part of the galaxy. It's too big to see in all of it in a telescope. It's 4 moon diameters wide. So if you can imagine how wide the moon is in the sky, then you can't fit that into one. So these binoculars are the best thing to have a look at Andromeda with. We're done, I think, Mark. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, everybody online, for joining us for the unveiling of the roll-off observatory for the night. Hopefully the clouds clear away for us and we can get some viewing in. And thank you, everybody here, for joining us as well. Well, hopefully in March we will see them all for the Messier Star Party. And also, as I said earlier in the other stream, from 6 o'clock tomorrow night, anybody who signs up to be a member will be going into the draw to win an 8-inch Dobsonian or a $500 Celestron voucher. So be sure, if you're not a member yet, to become a member between 6 o'clock tomorrow night and the 8th of January next year. Yeah. But for now, that's bye from us at the LMDSS. We won't be able to bring you any other live streams tonight because the connections just aren't strong enough. And we look forward to our next live stream. Thank you.